Hello, welcome to the self-learning podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 7, Components of Decentralized Development, Equal Distribution of Benefits of Development. And our topic is the principle of desert. Justice according to the desert rests on the principle that it is fair to reward others according to their merit or deserts. The entrepreneurial ideal first espoused by Adam Smith encouraged the member of the middle classes to demand that the careers, rewards and riches be made available to the most talented men, regardless of their family background. Spencer also identified justice with distribution according to the desert when he says, each individual ought to receive the benefits and the evils consequent upon conduct. When we act, and especially when we produce, we naturally create certain benefits depending on our efforts, skills and capacities, and their benefit ought to be secured to us. Another advocate of desert principle is George Harris. He maintains that all social values must yield whenever those values threaten meritocratic rule. The basic rule advanced by him is that so far as the men are equal, opportunities should be in proportion to their merit. Thus, the touchstone of his philosophy is the rule of the best. Goldman also recombines the rationality of the rule that benefits and burdens must be distributed on the basis of competence and merit. Efforts and accomplishment, according to him, play a major role in satisfying criteria for positions. The desert rule would, he maintains, create incentive for individuals to develop their capacities and competencies and to be maximally productive. If positions of social importance and superior intelligence are allowed to be filled arbitrarily and capriciously, it would result in sharply diminished utility to public. If individuals are barred from achieving goals for which they have productively worked, it would deprive them of an important source of a feeling of self-accomplishment, self-satisfaction and pride. These are central elements in the respect that one enjoys from the community. Thus, according to the principle of desert, the most competent acquire a prima facie right to the positions and can claim that these legitimate expectations to the positions be fulfilled. Egalitarians, on the other hand, reject the idea of distribution according to the desert on the ground that the people have talents or skills through the accident of nature or social circumstances. They discount altogether each man's responsibility for his own actions and the corresponding justification of differential distribution based on desert. Now let us move to the next point, the principle of need. Second principle of distribution of social advantages and benefits of development is distribution according to need. Distribution of benefits and burdens may be justified on the bare biological necessities of life. The advocates of this approach maintain that the individuals who cannot meet their essential material needs through free transactions have a right to have these needs met out of assets of others. The principle that basic needs be guaranteed by government to those who cannot meet them through their own efforts have come to acquire an entrenched status as one of the fixed moral imperatives governing our political life. It is widely believed that the fundamental human quality carries with it a legitimate claim for at least a minimum of welfare, simply because a given being is human. This is considered a corollary of the dignity or infinite values of the individual. It is argued that the distribution should be allowed not only to meet the bare physical subsistence, because the right to mere physical subsistence would exist even in a state of nature. Something more is expected from the modern welfare states, with its far more ambitious redistributive public provisions of basic goods and services. Rawls goes to a step further when the difference principle, as formulated by him, requires that the least advantaged should be guaranteed as much as possible. In other words, Rawls' rules is not only satisfying but maximizing. Kropotkin is one of the leading advocates of the approach, which interprets justice as distribution according to need. His main defense of the theory is that the means of production being the collective work of humanity, the product should be collective property of the race. Individual appropriation is neither just nor serviceable. All belong to all. All things are for all men, since all men have need of them, since all men have worked in the measure of strength to produce them, and since it is not possible to evaluate everyone's part in the production of the world's wealth. However, need theory is attacked on the ground that it presupposes wholly unrealistic alternatives, the main alternative being material advancement or ultimate human generosity. Distribution according to need would, in the opinion of Spencer, deprive the society of the beneficial consequences of a competitive struggle for rewards, and would frustrate the improvement of human race. Now let us wind up the session and take rest. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with a self-learning podcast.